Welcome back to the World of Tennis, presented by BNP Paribas.
In this week's roundtable discussion, the editors of Tennis Magazine serve up a debate on the influence of technology and how it's changed the game.
The Editors Roundtable is brought to you by Tennis Magazine.
Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Tennis Magazine Editors Roundtable. I'm here with my colleagues David Rosenberg and Steve Tigner. I'm Peter Bodo. Today we'll be talking about the effect of technology on tennis. It all really began with Pam Shriver at the US Open at age 16. She reached the final against Chris Evert. She was playing with that lollipop-sized Prince Pro aluminum racket. That kind of opened a Pandora's box. Where are we today, fellas?
Now in tennis, I mean, first you had, for so many years, like you were saying, starting with Shriver, and you had the oversized rackets, you had different materials, you had, graphite became big, and then so on and so forth. And now you have, it's all about the strings. The last few years now we've had strings, so it feels like tennis is evolving. It's constantly evolving in every sort of way they can.
I think there used to be a big push to go back to wood rackets, but you don't hear much of that anymore. I think in the 80s or 90s there was an idea that the pro game had gotten too much about power, not enough about finesse, but it feels like that's not true anymore. I think people have given up that idea and are happy with the way the sport is played now.
Well, that was a heyday, of course, of the Pete Sampras, Goran Ivanisevic, Wimbledon shootouts, where you had guys just serving. It was like a rock fight, basically, guys serving big bombs and, nobody returning serve and stuff. Things have really, as Steve says, I think have really changed quite a bit since then. I think, the way the game is developed, and one of the other interesting things that never gets credit when you talk about technology is the change in hard courts, in all courts in fact, but that's kind of a decision matter on surfaces like clay and grass. But on hard courts, they can fine-tune these surfaces now to give a much greater variety.
I think that also the biggest change and has a really big effect on the way people play is the change at Wimbledon. I don't know if you class it under technology, but the grass is much different, plays much firmer. People don't have to have a specific game for grass anymore the way they used to. Sampras developed his game just to win Wimbledon, but nobody does that anymore because the surface is much more like the other surface.
Well, they talk about it now. I mean, every year they talk about where the most worn out part of the court is, and it used to be that right at that tee going forward to the net, and now it's along the baseline.
Territory,
yeah,
right?
the split step territory, exactly. Now you just don't see that anymore. Now it's all along the baseline.
And like you said, I think in the latest thing in the last 10 years, I think Gustavo Kuerten in '97 was the first person to use Luxilon strings or polyester strings, which not many people have talked about, but that's one of the reasons I think that the sport has gotten better to watch because of the spin they can create. It's not just power with the rackets now. Those strings help them keep the ball in more and create more spin, more variety.
Now you guys both play. Have you played with the newest thing now is this black string that Nadal has been using, and a lot of other players have gone to it, the polyester string. Have you guys played with these strings? Can you really give a hands-on idea of what these things play like?
Polyester, and it did help with spin. It does change. I mean, maybe it's just you think you're going to have that change, so you play a little differently. But I noticed a difference.
Yeah, for me, not really.
Not really?
Actually,
No.
I mean, I feel like I haven't really noticed much change at all.
Well, you got to generate some arm speed, David, to get the spin.
Exactly.
But of course, then we have the biggest change that's come down the pike, and that's been Hawkeye, the electronic line calling system. I can't believe either of you guys would have a negative thing to say about Hawkeye.
No, it's been great. It's changed the way the players react. I think it's changed the way people think of tennis players. They're not the brats that they used to be. John McEnroe would not have the same sort of personality on the court if you played with Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I mean, I also think that this whole idea of I think it shouldn't even be challenged. I think they should just have it up there with the umpire. And if they call, I don't think there should be a limited amount of challenges with
that. Every call made with Hawkeye.
Well, I mean, I don't think every call, but I think if it's a call where you can question it, if the umpire feels like you can question it, he or she can question it as well.
Well, there's something we all have agreed upon is that Hawkeye has been a great addition to the game. That's it for another edition of Tennis Magazine Editors Roundtable. Please join us again next time, and for all things tennis, visit tennis.com.
This Editors Roundtable discussion was brought to you by Tennis Magazine. Get exclusive tennis coverage online at tennis.com.
Well, it's been an interesting week in the nation's capital at the Legg Mason Tennis Classic. It's been hot and humid and plenty of upsets. No more top seeds and no more Americans. But a pair of Grand Slam finalists, Marcus Baghdatis and David Nalbandian, are making a run. Join us next week on the World of Tennis, presented by BNP Paribas, at the Western and Southern Financial Group Masters and Women's Open. I'm Justin Gimelstob. Thanks for joining us. See you soon.